Good morning, everyone. This is Brian with NetPicks, and thanks for taking the time to be with us this morning. We are going to show you one of the premier strategies that we have used over the last 2 years to trade the markets. It's called the 7 Summits Trader. And I want to stress that this is going to be the last time we will release this strategy to the public. It's a very powerful strategy, gives us an edge in the market, and I am joined today by TJ Noonan. He's the author of the 7 Summits Trader, and he's going to take us through the session today in real time and show us the trade setups as they appear in real time before we know the final result. One of the markets we trade is crude oil, and that market has already hit what we call power of quitting. TJ is going to show you that in a moment. So that particular market starts at a little before 9. And he's going to walk you through the trade setup there. But TJ, if you're on the mic and want to say a hello and get us going on the session.
All right. Thank you, Brian, and good morning, everybody. Thanks for taking the time today to join us to see the 7 Summits Trader Pro. I am sitting in this chair every single morning calling trades live in our live trade room. What you see in front of you are 4 of the charts that we trade every day. I've got a couple Forex charts in front of you here. I got a crude oil chart, a Russell chart, and there's a few more in the background that I'm always watching, quite a few actually. And as Brian said, we already hit our goals this morning even before we started. Our crude oil trade plan actually starts a little bit earlier, and today is the crude inventory report day, and we treat this with a lot of respect. Typically we're only looking for our one trade actually at our start time, which is 8:50 generally. And so if you want to come in and check us out in the live trade room, just let us know. We can give you a free sample look, and you can spend some time with us for a couple weeks, and you'll see us do this every single day. But I'm just going to act like I'm in the trade room right now and show you what happened. Let me make this a little bigger. How's that look, Brian? Could you see that?
Yeah, that looks good, Troy. And I should, just before Troy gets going here, make an announcement that if you have any questions at all, get those into the text, and I'll be answering those via text. We'll also, questions that are really good for the entire group, we'll announce those on the broadcast this morning, and then answer it for everyone. So again, get those questions into the text, and we'll get those answered up. So back to you, Troy.
Okay, great. So actually another trade is just set up, and you can see that the price actually hit the entry. Let me kind of show you what this is and what we're looking at here. All these dots on the screen are different trade setups, and the one with these blue arrows under it, I put those arrows there just to show you these setups. This one happened at 8:54. I don't know if you could see the time, but that's about 4 minutes after we start trading this every day. And so while the trade was setting up, we had this panel over here, these numbers telling us that the trade is setting up. And as soon as the bar closed, we got our setup. And the plus sign is always the entry. It's always going to be a little bit beyond the setup bar, so we're always looking for that extra confirmation. We need the price to actually break out and move a little further beyond the setup bar, and once it hits that level, that triggers us into the trade. And then usually we're going to the second dot or the third dot. We're actually testing a trade plan that one of our members has been working on for quite some time, and it's been just really knocking home some great winners, and it's cut the risk, and the profitability has gone up, and we already had a really strong trade plan. We're really excited because we've added this new indicator here. It's just a simple EMA, and we're using that to exit trades that are going against us quicker. And as a result, we've increased the profitability, and now we're going to the third target. And so in this particular trade, we got in at 93.53 and exited at 93.69. It's a small little setup, but look how accurate that was. We have this philosophy here at NetPicks, and we've built it into the 7 Summits Trader, that we want to take what the market wants to give us. We're never trying to force a trade or force more out of a trade. And we have that wired into the DNA of the SST. The stops are right below, in this case, the setup bar, And notice how the stop moved up to lock in a tick of profit. When the trade moved against us, our second position was out with a 1-tick gain. So we're always going into these trades with 2 positions. If you look back at the trade before, this happened a little bit earlier than our start time, but look at where the stop began. The stop is always going to give the trade the room it needs to develop, and it's tuning itself in real time based on market volatility. So every trade setup is going to be different based on that point in time and what the market is actually telling us. And the SST is doing this all for us. The SST Pro calculator actually is the custom indicator that's doing all the heavy lifting. Okay, so when that one triggered in, kind of jiggled around here for a bit, you had some volatility, took a little time before it started to take off, but notice how the stop began to cut risk at the appropriate moment, and then it moved here to take all the risk off the trade while still keeping us in the trade. This stabbed up, almost reaching the third target, not quite. The stop still pressed higher. Both positions came off right here. That would have been a partial profit. And then we have this special trade that it's actually, we used to teach this separate as something you would add to the SST, but with the SST Pro, we've actually built it into the calculator, and it's become part of the system, and it's called Get Bob, Get Back on Board. Sometimes when you get out of a trade prematurely due to an aggressive money management plan, preserving your capital, cutting risk, you get out too soon, but the market still wants to go higher, this setup lets us get back in the move. So in a way, we get to have our cake and eat it too, because we're cutting risk. We got wiggled out of the trade, but we were able to jump right back in and still pick up a profitable move. And as you can see, there's another Get Bob trade happening right here. You can tell because they're a gray color. And that one has already become profitable as well. Notice how the stop has moved from here up to here and now has locked in and taken the risk off the trade in this particular trade as well. So, and there just hit target again. So I have just pretty much taught you the SST in like the last 5 minutes. I mean, that's really all there is to it. You just follow the dots on the chart. The rest is up to you, the trader, to manage the trade, which is pretty easy. You practice it a little bit and you realize that the dots mean you have to do something, and I'll show you when in a little while we'll start trading the Russell, and I'll take some trades and show you how we do that. But there's really not much more to it. Down here is an indicator that we call the OSOB indicator, and what this does is confirm our setups. And so what we teach you in training is that, how to read this. All these horizontal colored lines correspond with different setups. And so this has to agree with what's going on up here in order for there to be a setup. Now the basic rule is for a long trade, you need a bar that closes above the trigger line, which is this yellow dotted line. Okay, that's rule number 1. Notice how the green bar came up, closed above it. Okay, it corroborated with what's going on down here in the OSOB indicator. That's what gave us a setup. For short trade, likewise, you need to close below the trigger line. Okay, let's look over here on the left. I've also got the automation running on the Aussie yen chart just to kind of show you how it works. We use this as a prospecting tool. We don't trade with it, but it's kind of nice because it assists us and it confirms our setups. You can have it running if you want. This was a small little trade on the Aussie US. It just happened while we were talking. It set up, back at 8:35, triggered in. You could see that it went to full target. The stop is giving the trailer a little bit more room, but you could see that it's moving higher, and we'll just keep an eye on that and see how far we get with that. And some of you may notice, or may have noticed, that we have not had a lot of range in the Euro-US lately. The Euro-US has been a really hard trade, but we trade it every day in the trade room. We usually take anywhere from 1 to 3 trades, maybe 4. And I was just finishing a post on the blog because I had done some homework. I had to update my spreadsheets. I had been on vacation, and what I've noticed is that despite how slow this market has been this year, it just keeps plugging along, hitting new record profit levels. It's pretty amazing how steady this trade plan is. And in fact, I can show it to you on MT4. One of the reasons I created this 5-minute plan was for MetaTrader users. Let me just show you that really quick because this is pretty cool. You know, with every broker, you get different quotes, right? Every broker is a different market maker for Forex, so it's kind of like the wild, wild west. It's not like a futures market where you have a centralized market. And the Forex MetaTrader, I'm using a Wanda, is a lot different, you know, different quotes from TradeStation. You can see in MetaTrader how it hit the entry here, came down to full target with this third dot. It also, on the next trade, hit the entry, and it came down and actually touched a money management level. The stop moved from here down into there, and then the trade came up and got stopped out for a 1 pip gain, so basically breaking even. And then in this one here, you know, this is questionable whether you would have taken this trade or not. Usually we're going to adjust below the swing level, give it a little room and extra confirmation. So depending on where one might have adjusted that trade, maybe that triggered in, maybe you're still waiting for it to trigger in. So that's one of those things we call the 5% art to trading. You just can't escape that because you got to pay attention to near-term support and resistance levels. It's really easy, and that's something we teach all the time. But you can see how the MetaTrader, it looks just about the same as TradeStation, maybe not as pretty, but it works exactly the same. It's the exact same trade plan as we're seeing on TradeStation. But I wanted to show you MetaTrader because I know it's a popular platform, and you could do a lot with the SST Pro with MetaTrader because we've got a lot of swing trade plans as well, which it's what I prefer to trade actually with Forex. And you can see here that we have a long setting up now on the Euro-US. And I'll just kind of read it to you and let you know what it is. If you look over here on the data window, every time I click on the setup bar, I could look over here and I got the entire trade. So hopefully you can follow my mouse over to the right. I'm using a fairly large monitor. But the entry is at 23.46. We're targeting the third target, 23.64. I just round down that fifth digit. And you can see it's a pretty small trade, right? 18 pips, maybe 17 pips after spread. But we always have that second position. And so this could hit its target perhaps, can continue onwards, and we may even get a situation where we get a second setup where we can add to our position. And that's also built into the SST Pro calculator. So the add-on positions are pretty powerful actually, because when you're building a position and the price momentum is increasing in the direction of your trade, there's nothing more profitable than taking advantage of those explosive moves. And the SST Pro has a few different scenarios where you can actually add to your position and build your position as the trade progresses. So that's pretty cool. Maybe we'll get a situation here if the Euro-US wakes up where we can show it to you.
Hey, Troy, if you don't mind, I've got a few questions coming in I'd like to answer
Sure.
via audio. So first question, a number of you have asked what platforms SST works on. And so we'll just go over that right now. It works on TradeStation, which that's what Troy is showing you SST on. And it also works on NinjaTrader. NinjaTrader is a great option. NinjaTrader allows you to select a number of different brokers. And it's a self-contained charting platform and also a trade management platform for those of you not familiar with it. And then, of course, it works on MetaTrader 4, and that would be Forex only. And there are a lot of options broker-wise with MT4. You do need to chart on one of those platforms. And one of the questions, let's see where that went. One of the questions was from Michael saying that he has MarketScope 2.0 and he trades with FXCM. So what you would do in that case, Michael, is you would want to chart on MT4 and then place your trades, you know, at FXCM. So you have to chart with either MT4, NinjaTrader, or TradeStation. The signals are generated on those charts, but then you can trade with any broker that you want to from that point. So that's the answer to that. If there's any other questions in regard to the platforms, let me know in the text. And let's see, there were some other good questions here. Karen's asking if it works on Thinkorswim. Well, you can trade with Thinkorswim, okay, so you can execute your trades there. But again, you will need to chart with either TradeStation, NinjaTrader, or MetaTrader. So hopefully that makes sense. You can download a free demo version of MetaTrader from just about any broker. And you can also get a free version of MetaTrader through AMP Futures. So there's a possibility there. Question being asked, what's the duration of this webinar? Well, as soon as questions stop flowing in, we'll end the webinar. This is meant to be a really informal presentation today. You'll notice there's no PowerPoint. We're just showing you live charts in the market. We intend to go, maybe till another hour, till 10:30 roughly, or until the questions stop. So it's just meant to be a preview of the SST, and we do have a webinar, the final release, next Thursday, and that's going to be a more formal presentation with good information about the strategy, how it was developed, and how it can, benefit you as a trader. And so we'll be getting into more detail next Thursday, but this is just meant today to be a show and tell, to show you the SST in real time in the markets. And so very, very informal today. That's why I want a good flow of questions back and forth if you have anything that's a question in your mind. So Troy, that's good enough for now. I've been answering a lot of questions via text, so I'll continue to do that. Why don't you go ahead and take us back to some of the examples?
Yeah, sure. Just to expand on Karen's question with Thinkorswim, I trade with Thinkorswim all the time, and I use my TradeStation charts with the SST, and I place a lot of trades through Thinkorswim. It's an excellent platform, especially when you're swing trading stocks and wanting to trade simple calls and puts. So what I would do is take one of the stock charts that I like to trade, and if a setup shows up on the stock chart, and I'll show you in a little while actually, it'll look the same as this. It could be an end of day chart even, or whatever, 195-minute chart. I'll take the entry and I'll look for the type of options that I'm interested in, and I'll place those trades through Thinkorswim. And sometimes I also trade futures through Thinkorswim. So yeah, it's a great platform to use. So I'm showing you a 5-minute chart on crude up here. This is an alternative trade plan. There are some, it's newer. This one was developed quite a bit after. The one below, the 377 tick, we've been trading this chart for over 2 years. I mean, the SST Pro, this is one of the grandfather charts that went into developing this trade system. And so this trade plan, we're kind of trading a variation of it. Like I said, we're using an SST members trade plan, just kind of giving it a test run, and we're really loving what we see with this new idea he's presented to us. But it's basically the same trade plan we've been using for 2 straight years. I developed a new one on a 5-minute chart. There were some traders that just wanted a slower, longer hold time trade that could really knock the ball out of the park. And so there's this particular trade plan. You could see that it's already hit the first target, and the stop has moved up to lock in about 9 ticks on the second position. But this is the kind of trade that you would hold to actually try to hit a huge 5th target. There's 5 targets here. And believe it, sometimes it's going to get to that 5th target. This one's way up there. But you could see right here in this little trade, here's the 5th target. Not every trade's the same, but of course this will trail, and sometimes you just get a nice big partial profit. But it's a really nice trade plan, and we kind of monitor this in the trade room as well. I wanted to show it to you just to give a different look. And I think, Brian, I heard or read some questions about why a 5-minute Euro US and a tick chart and futures, and you may have missed my explanation, but the 5-minute chart is designed to be used on all the platforms we support, including MetaTrader. So it's actually the same trade plan for TradeStation, MetaTrader, or NinjaTrader. And so I'm trying to always come up with stuff that MetaTrader users can prosper with, and this is one of the oldest. We've been again, this has been being traded for a real long time. I think we're on our 1-year anniversary for this particular trade plan. It's sitting at all-time record profit levels. We do have tick charts for Forex as well. The pound dollar and the euro yen are two really nice charts to trade, a 233 tick chart. There's some trade plans that have been working for a real long time on those charts as well, but of course MetaTrader users can't really take advantage of tick charts. But if you wanted to use TradeStation, you could certainly put those trade plans on your platform and follow those charts as well. So we've still got a few minutes before the Russell starts. I think what I'm going to do is load up a couple Russell charts here and talk you through that a little bit. We don't start trading the Russell until 9:32, 2 minutes after the market opens. We found that waiting that 2 minutes has really made a big difference in our results. And before I even show you that, I kind of want to show you something else. Let's see. We also have a slower Russell plan. It's a longer plan. A lot of traders love this one too. It's a real simple trade plan. You just take trades until you get a losing trade. So if the first trade's a loss, you're done for the day. If the first trade's a winner, you take another trade. And so it's a slow, patient trade plan, but I mean, there's nothing like getting 4 or 5 winners in a session, and that's going to happen. Sometimes you might only get 3 winners, and then the 4th one's a loser. You know, typically 1 to 5 trades a day. And this is a nice one because it really takes advantage of the bigger trends, and it's a much smoother time frame to trade. Whereas the 377 is quicker. You're going to dart and dodge. Sometimes you're going to end up with, you know, maybe only 16 ticks on the session like we did yesterday. Yesterday we took 2 quick trades. I'll show you. Got it marked up right here. First trade came in. We had to wait about a half hour, and you'll see that it just got to that first target there. Okay, that's where you'll see the stop moves up to lock in a tick, and then it's stabbed down. But luckily, the get Bob trade, get back on board, let us get back on board the move, and we actually got the full target. And this little sequence here, 2 winners and positive, we were done for the session. We were done in about 25 minutes or so, whereas the day before we picked up over 48 ticks. So every day is different. The Russell is also at all-time profit levels. And one thing I want to show you, we got a couple minutes before the Russell starts, so let me give you a little history lesson on the SST. In April of 2010, I started calling it live for the very first time. It was after I developed it, worked on it really hard. The programmers were starting to program it up, and I started calling these trades live in the trade room, and then in August we released it for the first time 2 years ago. And so this is our 2-year anniversary. The first year, 2010, this is what we did with this very same trade plan. Oops, got it on the other monitor. Just a second. Hold on a sec. All right, give me a second. I'll pull that up for you. Okay, well, I'll have to work on that. I was going to show you the equity curve from 2010, 2011, and then 2012 because it's really pretty interesting to see. They all look the same, basically. In 2010, we did about 400 points by the end of the year. 2011, that was about a 450-point year using this exact same trade plan. And then this year, we're up over 230 points and on track to do another 400-point year. So extremely consistent, I guess, is the point I wanted to make. And again, this is the original trade plan. We're still using it, and what we've learned all these through the last 2 years is that the SST Pro is so versatile that, you know, as I've shown you in all those other charts so far, that you could just do so much with it. We've built in a lot of versatility into the tool set, including a variety of filters that allow you to reduce some trades that would give you false breakouts and help you avoid some choppy price action. So we do use those filters on a lot of these trade plans, including this one, the 625. You'll see sometimes some trades that will print in a darker color, but we avoid it because the filter is telling us to avoid it. So that's pretty cool. Another thing is we can toggle a lot of this stuff on and off. So that's also pretty cool. So let me just do a quick look over here. Got the matrix here. This is what I like to place trades on. My chart right next to it. My data window here. So everything's really close. It's really easy to see what's happening and to maneuver your trades around. So the market's just opened, and now we're just going to watch the Russell for a while. We can watch it over here. You know, we are in August. It's the dog days of August. I'm sure you know how slow August can be. We've actually been very successful in August last year and the year before. So far we're doing good. For this month as well, August has always been slow, but this year it's slower. It just seems like the entire year has been a lot slower with all the craziness that's happened in the world over the last couple years. But the one thing that's cool about the SST is that it always puts you on the right side of the trade for the big moves. When the flash crash came, the SST had us in front of that move a day early. I even did some research and looked at the trade that George Soros took on the pound dollar, the trade that broke the Bank of England over 10 years ago, 20 years ago. And that's a trade that brings back a lot of fond memories for me because I also was short the pound dollar. That was one of the first trades I ever took. And that's the trade that got me hooked on trading because I won a few grand and I took the money and I went to Europe and traveled Europe for a few months that ultimately led me to South America when I met my wife. So that was the best trade I ever made. But George Soros, he made the same trade. I made a few grand. He made a few billion, broke the Bank of England. And when you look back at those charts and pop the SST on those charts, you can see that the SST had you short the pound dollar days before that trade took place. It's pretty remarkable. So it's kind of nice to have something that almost acts like a crystal ball. It's not going to win 100% of the time, but we don't need to win 100% of the time. All we need to do is put the odds in our favor on every single trade, knowing that we're going to win more than we lose, knowing that we're going to win more often than we lose, and then the rest is up to us to manage the trade properly and to apply smart money management and risk management, and then just to be a disciplined trader. So with a tool like this, it's pretty easy because, you know, once you've traded with something like this where the trades just show up, and after you've built your confidence and belief in the system where you know you're only going to trade these trade plans for this set of time, follow these rules, and just do it day after day like a business, you're going to see how the account can grow and grow and grow. In fact, I'm about to do a presentation. We may talk about this a little bit, but using this very plan, the Euro-US 5-minute chart, how to turn this into, leverage this up to a large account when you only have a small account. In other words, if you only have a small account to begin trading with, there's a way to use the Euro-US 5-minute, this very trade plan, using a certain money management scheme and following the rules of the trade plan to turn that $1,000 account into something quite substantial. And I'm going to be doing a presentation on that pretty quick. So you might want to keep your ears open for that. Okay, so just looking back here on the Russell, you can see not a lot of action, not much going on. This is our tick counter. Look how slow it's going. It's a 377 tick. We're just waiting for each bar to print. I mean, sometimes it goes really fast, sometimes it goes really slow. One of the reasons I like tick charts is because of how dynamic they are. They reflect the order flow in the market. We could take a peek at this crude trade triggering in here. Just got long. Remember, we're flat on crude anyway. Crude's already hit its goals for the morning. Brian, if there's any questions, if you want to interject, go ahead. I mean, I might have to interrupt you if there's a trade, but feel free to, I see a bunch of questions coming in, so just let me know if there's anything I need to answer.
Yeah, let me go over a few questions here, Troy, in the meantime, or just for the moment. A number of questions on the different markets that SST works on, and there was a question about whether it just works on Forex, and the answer to that is it works on Forex, it works on futures. We have traders that use it on stocks and trading options. So that's the really cool thing about this strategy. You can take it and apply it to many different markets and time frames, and you can even swing trade with it, putting it on a higher time frame, on a daily chart, and or a 8-hour chart. Higher time frames if you don't have time to sit in front of the computer and trade for 2 hours straight. Let's see. So that response was to Nick. He was wanting to know about daily, weekly, and so forth. So that response was for you, Nick. And Kelly asked a question. He or she, I can't tell, is not familiar with the Russell and wanted to know what a point is worth on the Russell. It's $10 per tick, and there's 10 points or 10 ticks in a point. So that's the answer to that. Nick's asking how it performs on the ES. Troy, you want to respond to that one?
I use the Russell as a proxy to the ES. The ES isn't one of my favorite markets, so I don't really look at it much. I think it's difficult, and the problem with the ES is that you don't know if you get filled. I mean, you have to trade through your price levels, and you may not get filled. You have to wait in line, and trading's hard enough as it is. So for me, I don't particularly do the ES. All right, so I just got into a long trade here, and I'm just adjusting my stop now, 794.3. And Troy, I took off. Let me just
Can you walk us through, Troy? Can you walk us through why we got in that trade? Why are we in this trade right now? Kind of consider that we've got layman's in here and talk through the setup there.
Yeah, sure. I saw this forming as the bar was building. It had not closed yet, but once it closed, we got a pink trade. A pink trade is a reversal trade. Notice how this is coming down, and now we're long. The OSOB indicator told us that the market's oversold, and so it's looking for a certain type of setup that's going to put us long. And it's when you get a close above this orange line and a close above the trigger line. And so whether we win or lose, that's the first trade of the day. Meanwhile, the stop is down here. You'll notice the stop is quite a bit bigger than the reward. Usually, I'd say 95% of the time, you're going to see that risk get cut, get cut, get cut. It's already starting to reduce. We'll just wait and see as this goes. I also eliminated one of the targets because I want to trail one of the positions. So I have one target I left on, and that target is at the middle dot, which is 798.6, see right there. Another target I canceled because I'm going to let the trailer manage that position. So we're getting close to money management. We're about one tick away. One tick before the first dot is our money management level. Let's see if we can get there. So I just want to be ready. The stop just moved up a little bit, 794.4, moved up one tick.
And Troy, I want to confirm something. There was a few comments in the beginning. Is this in real time? Are we live today? And so I'm going to say that, yes, we are live. This is a live trade that we have just taken. Today is August 8th. It's 9:39 in the morning. This is live. A lot of times, I'm sure you get promotions where you attend these kind of things, and they are not in real time. I'm guaranteeing you right now this is real time. So just to clear that up, that was a question that had come in earlier.
Yeah, every trade that we've seen so far in the charts has been live. This is the one that I'm actually trading, but there's money management. Let me just make sure I get to my risk-free there. I could just breathe a sigh of relief now, right? I've got nothing to lose on this trade. Worst case scenario is I make one tick, and that covers the cost of my commission. It's the worst thing that can happen now. What's the best that can happen? Well, you know, there could be some announcement that, all right, I'm one tick shy of full target. I'm just going to let this roll. Normally I'd be trading for profit, taking off a position. You get one tick to target, you trade for profit, right? You don't want to let it come all the way back and stop you out. But for the sake of this demonstration, I'm just going to let it roll. What you see here is a possible add-on position forming. It's not a trade I've been taking on the Russell lately with the 377 because the Russell has just been you know, stop and start, and so that add-on trade, just the odds aren't quite as good on this particular market. On crude oil, it'd be all over it, and the Euro US, all over it. Swing trading, definitely. Just with the Russell, I treat the Russell differently. Usually I'm not even moving my break-even stop until the bar closes, but you got to have respect for the Russell because it's just all over the map. Now, hopefully, if you were trading this live, if we were in the room, trade room, you would have peeled off one of your positions for, you know, almost near the target when you miss by one tick. But I don't have my typical setup in front of me here. I'm just kind of using this demo setup so I can project everything that I need to show you. So I'm just going to let this kind of do its thing. And we'll just watch it. Hopefully that stop holds. Notice how the stop is one tick below 797. Sometimes that's strong enough to hold. Sometimes it isn't. Brian, any questions while we're watching this trade?
Justin's asking a question here. How do you know which trades are better to take, the reversals or just the regular long and short trades?
It's a good question. The trade plan pretty much has, you know, all the rules that you're supposed to follow, but by and large, all the trades are effective. The reversal, the re-entries, the basic setups, the get bobs. Okay, you can see that the stop saved us. It got us out with only one tick. Missed the target by one tick. You can see why you need to manage a trade like that, peeling off one of your positions with a partial profit and letting the second position get out with the one tick gain. But a demonstration on how this works is pretty much what I wanted to show you here. But back to the question, I mean, all the setups are good setups. I mean, you could even see here at the end of yesterday's session, this isn't even a time we'd be trading. The yellow trades are re-entry trades. You could see how it filled and got all the way to target. This trade that happened near the close of the session, notice how you see the setup here, but then on the next bar you don't? That's a setup that canceled. Okay, so you're going to get a lot of setups that don't trigger in, and that's a good thing, isn't it? Because you get almost the type of scenario you want for a setup, but then the conditions change. You don't want to get into a trade if the conditions have changed. I mean, price action is infinitely challenging. It's changing moment to moment. That's why trading's so hard. Many traders get this notion, they think that, you know, they want to be right. They think they're right, and they're so bent on proving that they're right, or they're so married to their idea that they're going to take that trade through hell or high water, no matter what. And as the trade goes against them, they know they're right, so they keep buying more, putting on a bigger position size at a better price. But you know what? Market conditions changed. That's wiped out more traders than I think anyone could ever count. And so our philosophy is to be fluid with the market. Take what the market wants to give you. And you don't have to be right. Being right or being wrong is not what makes money in trading. What makes money in trading is taking trades as like your business. This is your business. You have the odds in your favor. You're just taking a calculated risk. It's a business transaction like any other business transaction. Aren't all business transactions calculated risks anyway? So that's our philosophy, and it's built into the system so that when you get a setup and then conditions change, well, the setup cancels. Now we're just patient waiting for the next setup. Whether it's a yellow trade, a blue trade, a red trade, a pink trade, or a white trade, I mean, it's still the same rules. The rules don't change. You got the plus sign, you got the targets. The reason we color code these trade setups is just to help you stay in rhythm with the system and understand the context of what's going on with the price as it develops over time. So the pink trade always tells us that it's going to reverse from the prior movement down. Okay, we teach this all in training. The training goes through all this. It's very thorough. You can see it's a super slow market. You had a nice reversal. It could not get above this spike right here. Notice the spike. If you draw a line across it, that's right where our target was. Couldn't get there. I tried. Now, you know, maybe it's going to come down and test the lows again. But, you know, it's August. What could, you know, it's just how it is. Come September, come October, this market's going to get super lively, and the range is probably going to open up leading into the election. We're going to have some explosive price action across many markets. That's where the SST really becomes indispensable, because it's going to be tuning itself and adjusting to those market conditions as they change, and it's going to present some extremely profitable trading opportunities as we get these runaway markets. And that beautiful trailing tool, actually there's a number of trailing tools actually built into the system, so depending on the trade plan. But I mean, with something like this, you're going to be able to navigate through those market conditions and really yank some serious profits out of the market as the volatility comes back, and that's going to happen. You know, everything moves in cycles. So we just take our time, and, you know, I would consider that a full winner as far as my goals go, missing the full target by one tick. I'd be looking for one more winner of any amount, even if it's just a one-tick winner. That would be the goal for the day. Taking what the market wants to give.
Hey, Troy, a few questions here.
Sure.
Morgan's asking what TFU12 is. That's the symbol that you see that Troy has on the chart, and that is the front month contract symbol for the Russell. Each futures contract has a front month that trades, and it trades for a period of time. It could be a month, it could be 3 months, and then futures roll to the next contract. So that's why you see that code up in the top left-hand corner. Also, let me say that there are a lot of questions flowing in all at once, and sometimes you know, your question scrolls off the screen. If you've asked a question, not received a response, please just type it in again, and we'll get you answered up. And let's see. Raymond is asking the question, how many trades do you have going in the Russell? I assume is that at any one time, or we showed you one trade this morning, Raymond, on the Russell, and there's no open trades at this point. TJ is asking if we could look at the Euro USD, and he says he believes a trade triggered at 1.2346. So I have no clue if that's the case, but if you can take a look at that.
Yes, good eye, that is the case. But you could see, as we've been seeing with the Euro, it's even sleepier than the Russell. This is a 5-minute chart. I mean, we were getting 150 to 250 pip ranges, and now we're lucky if we get 70 pips in a day as far as from high to low. So the Euro is one of those trades where you just have to be super patient, and as you know, little by little over time, you could really grow your account. If I were to look back at all the euro trades, in fact, maybe I could open up a spreadsheet. I would say that, I'm just guessing here, but because I was there every day calling them and posting them in the spreadsheet, I think that half the trades this year have been break even. Half, where you lock in 1 pip, cover your, pretty much your spread costs, and yet it's still up like, I don't know, 1,350 pips for the U.S. session. Doesn't seem like a lot, but I ran a test yesterday actually, and just by putting on 3% risk on every trade, starting with micro lots, if you only had $1,000, you would have grown that account by now from the beginning of the year till yesterday to over $8,000, just with the 1,300 and something pips that it's been able to make this year. But that's because of all those break-even trades and a really high winning percentage. So every market and time frame has its own personality. The Euro-US, the personality's changed. I mean, it got short and it stopped and reversed to long. This trade here, I mean, first trade was a loss today, but it's just not doing anything. It's August, so it is what it is. Every now and then you're going to pick up a few losses, but again, you just stay patient, you stay with the trade plan, you just put on really smart risk so that no losing trade can hurt you, and you're going to be okay. So we got another setup here. Now this would have been an add-on trade, but since the other one stopped out, now it's just the second trade. And I want to get above 798.6. That was the problem spot. You can see right now the entry is at 798.6. So if it closes and that's my entry, I'll make a 1-tick adjustment and I'll get in at 798.7. Let's double check that. Yeah, see 798.6. So let's see where this goes. Sometimes when the market is really slow like this, I like to reduce my expectations. I trade less. I don't try to be a hero. I know I'm going to be back here tomorrow. I mean, as traders, that's what we do, right? We trade. So sometimes the best trade is the decision not to trade at all, and that's fine. So I might reduce my expectations and just take one trade, and if it's a full winner, sometimes I'm content with that. This target wants to break a key level. It wants to get to 800.2. Sometimes it'll stab through. Let's see if there's a rally in this market. 795.7 is my stop. Happens to be there. So the stop has got 2 positions that'll stop out. The target's got 1. The second one will be a trailer. Maybe we'll get lucky. Maybe the market will just wake up. Maybe the setup will cancel and I'll get a short trade instead. We got to be on our toes. We could watch it from here. So we got a couple things going on. The Euro-US, that's live. I mean, I didn't take the trade, but it's a live trade in real time. You can see the Aussie-US. That one's given the trailer some time. Depending on your position size, you probably want to take off the risk of your trailer and then maybe leave a little small size with a little more room in case it needs it, because sometimes it'll come down, get back to the entry, and then take off. So this gives you the option to leave a little bit on with a little bit of risk, but you should be coming off with most of your position size on that one. See, I got 122 ticks left, so I'm not panicking. I could just click back over here anytime, and if that trade comes off, I just hit the cancel button. $796.8 is a possible short. It's vacillating around the trigger line here. This is indicative of a real slow market, a range-bound market. We've had no range since the Russell has opened up this morning. I mean, 794.6 to 798.5. 4-point range is nothing. Kind of hard to make money when the market isn't moving. But you never know. It'll put you to sleep, bore you to tears, and then it'll wake you up with a burst of energy. You have to be prepared. This trade canceled, see? So I just got to come over here. Cancel the trade. No biggie. That's the beauty of having dots printing on the chart. I don't have to scratch my head and go, should I keep that trade on? Do you think it's going to break out? Where's that price going to go? I don't even think like that. I don't even ask those questions. It makes trading so much easier when you eliminate all that stuff that's subjective that we're faced with as traders each and every day. The more you can eliminate from your mind when you're making trade decisions, the better trade decisions you're going to make when you make those decisions. There's a real virtue to the whole KISS acronym, keep it simple, silly. Keep it simple, stupid. And that's what this does. Because I don't care if this trade wins or loses. I know what this has done over the last 2 years, going on 3. So one trade is inconsequential, isn't it? I mean, you still have to take another trade after that. You still have to take another trade after that. There's always another trade. People forget that. People get so hung up in the trade they're in, and they're fretting over, stressing out over the trade they're in, and that's no way to trade, because when the trade's over, there's another trade. There's always another trade. So what is success as a trader? Is it winning the trade you're in? Well, what about the next trade? That's the dilemma that so many traders are faced with. So for me, I mean, I got to call live trades with a lot of people depending on me calling good trades. I can't second guess. I can't interject myself into the trade, or I'm probably going to be wrong. Many times I'll be wrong. And it's not about right or wrong. It's about sticking to the trade plan that puts the odds in your favor and grows your account over time. That's how money is made trading. That's what the SST does for us. So for me, it's simple. Just wait. Possible setup coming. Not going to really be able to adjust on this one. The adjustment's going to be too big. 798.1 so far. Am I going to go all the way up to 798.6? I'm not going to do that. It's too big of an adjustment. So this trade, I have to take it, 798.1. Win or lose, I'm following the trade plan. And that's what brings success. This time the target's 799.8, so it's below that big key level. And it's smaller. Notice it's a little smaller. Stop goes down to 795.7. Just take my time. Don't want to click on the wrong thing. And that's it. I mean, I'm doing my job, aren't I? I'm doing my job as a trader. Now I got to see if this trade triggers in or if it cancels. I mean, the market's pretty indecisive right now. There's no buyers, there's no sellers, there's no volume. But as soon as I think there's nothing left in this market, that's when the market surprises me, breaks out, and hits the runner. I mean, it happens like that over and over again. That's why trading is so challenging, because you can look at charts all you want in the comfort of your own home and the market's closed, looking at all the winners. Oh, gee, this is great. I could have taken that. I could have taken that. But then when it's real time and you have to experience it minute after minute, as time passes, how do you stay focused? Your mind wanders. You start doing other things. You're answering the phone. You're answering emails. You miss your trade, or you make a mistake. And what you saw on the chart, you were right. You could have taken that. You would have been a winner. But doing it in real life is a whole nother thing. So the SST just becomes so essential because it just makes it so easy. We are one tick away from money management. We just hit money management. So I got to grab that, lock in the one tick. This is our power of quitting. No matter what happens on this trade, because the other trade missed the full target by one tick, I consider that a full winner as far as my goals are. So if I only get one tick, so be it. If the market has more in it, all the better. I'm in position to pick up a bigger move if it's going to happen. And I have no risk on this trade because it hit our level. It hit the level where we take the risk off the trade. So there's nothing for me to do. If the trade keeps going higher, the stop is going to act accordingly. I would love to see this come up and hit that full target. Has to get above this resistance over here. We'll see if it can do it. It's a no news Wednesday. I mean, there's not really much going on this week. So the markets are just kind of drifting. And yet the SST is behaving according to the condition of the market. And there are many sessions where we only get a small profit. But by leaving this trade on and not jumping the gun and not trying to peel off and make a tuna fish sandwich, maybe we're going to make a prime rib dinner. Maybe we're going to make a trip to Disneyland. So you just let it go. It's just another trade. It's just another trade. You always have to remember that. Tomorrow we'll show up and we'll do the same thing over again. And we'll look at these same dots on the chart and we'll follow the plan. I'm sitting here with no stress whatsoever. It's easy. Takes practice. But I mean, what profession can you actually learn and become an expert at for no money? I mean, you could do this on a sim account until you have it mastered. You can grow that sim account. You can build it up. You can see how the system works. You can see your sim account grow and grow and grow. This is what we teach in training, is how to actually become an expert trader. You got a tool like this. It sure makes it easy. But you still have to do it, right? It still boils down to the trader placing the trades and then letting the trade do what it's supposed to do, which is exactly what we're doing. This stop might move up a little. If this bar closes green, we're using what we call the 3-bar stop tool. Happens to work really well with the Russell, and so that stop's going to move up, but it may not. We have to wait to see when the bar closes. That's only going to move up one tick, but again, it's just paying attention to the condition of the market. But if it can get us one more tick, maybe we'll make a peanut butter sandwich. Notice how the stop moved back down because the 3-bar stop condition changed. That's all she wrote, guys. That's all we can get out of this market. In reality, we would have had a partial profit on that first trade on one of our positions, and then we would have had one tick on the second position. This trade did not get close enough, did not get to within one tick, and so this one only would have got us one tick. 2 winners. It's what the market wants to give us. Done for the day. That's it. You might be, tempted to take a third trade, and you know what? If you do your back testing and you come up with a trade plan, you can take a third trade if that's what your trade plan tells you to do. Got the get back on board trade here. But we're done. By quitting like this and sticking to this trade plan, we've done 400 plus points a year for 2 years straight with very limited trading. And I can just turn off my computer and go about my day. I mean, I'm on the West Coast at 7 in the morning. I got my whole day in front of me. Talk about freedom. I mean, that's what trading is all about. I don't need to take a trade now. It's not part of the trade plan. So, I mean, just looking at some stuff here. You can see crude reversed to short, got to a money management level, got the risk-free already on that trade. Of course, crude is also finished. Brian, the next market up for us isn't going to be for like another 25 minutes or so. I don't know if we're going to be doing this demo for that long.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to stick through the crude oil inventory report, TJ. So again, this was just meant to showcase the SST, and the market gave us what it gave us today. It gave us a partial profit on that first trade on the Russell, and the second trade was break even. Someone commented, Nick commented, how can you pay your bills with break even trading? Well, Nick, this is what I'm going to tell you. There are going to be days when you have exactly what we see here, and that's what the market gave us today. You can't expect that every day is going to be a huge profit. Okay, if that expectation is what you're going to approach the market with, you will not be successful. What you have to learn to do is to take what the market will give you, and that really is one of the key ingredients, in my opinion, to being a successful trader. Not forcing your will on the market, what you need, but taking what the market will give you is one of the most important concepts you can learn as a trader. And hopefully I didn't offend you with that, but that is the bottom line. And so I did want to respond to that.
I'd like to expand on that a little too.
Yeah, go for it, Troy.
It's a really important question, and it's a valid question. There are a couple things to think about. First of all, this is just one trade plan. You'll notice I have numerous charts up. Each trade plan is self-contained, so diversification is very important. In a half hour, we start trading wheat futures. Wheat futures we trade for 30 minutes. That's it. So the Russell only gave us a little bit today. Wheat futures may give us 2 full winners. Crude oil gave us some nice winners. In other words, each market and trade plan is going to dance to its own rhythm. And so by keeping each one self-contained, you're going to get the edge that trade plan gives you over time. And as you grow your account, you stick to your intelligent 2% ratio. You'll never risk more than 2% of your capital in any one trade. Your account will grow over time. The 2% you put on each trade will grow over time. The power of diversification is going to smooth your overall equity curve as that grows over time. And that's how you make money trading, I mean real money. The question that you asked is full of traps, because when you ask a question like, how do you pay your bills with break-even trades or with only 2 trades or whatever, what that implies to me is a trader who is putting their personal needs in front of the needs of their trading. Now, I don't, like Brian said, it's not my intention to offend anybody. This is just something that I've learned over time. We both have coached a lot of traders. When you put your personal needs in front of your trading, it's going to cause you to trade when you shouldn't trade. And you might even have a winning session, but you take that one more trade because you still need to pay your bills. And now you've lost. And instead of quitting as a winner, you're giving the money back to the market. You may even end up losing on a session you should have won on because you put your personal needs in front of the needs of your trading. But the great irony is that if you put the needs of your trading first, over time, your trading will take care of your personal needs. That's the way it works. It will never work the other way. I mean, maybe prove me wrong. That's just my opinion. But that's what I believe, and that's what's built into everything we teach. It's built into the philosophy of the SST, and it's even built into how the indicators work, the trade plan. This is a complete philosophy, a complete way of trading. It's just not indicators or dots on a chart. There's a reason why it works the way it works, why we do what we do, and why we keep being successful with it. I mean, we have a 2-year history on a lot of markets. It's posted a lot of profits over those 2 years. Maybe you start small, but as your account grows and grows and grows, you hit that critical mass. I mean, that's how you pay your bills. So, sorry for the long-winded answer, but I think it was a real important question.
Okay, a couple of other questions here, Troy, and this one from Bob. He's asking, is Fibonacci a part of your trading setup? So is that in the mix here at all, Troy?
No.
Yeah. So this is a proprietary methodology, and the indicators you see on the chart will come in the package. And again, as I said earlier, the indicator set works on TradeStation, on NinjaTrader, and MetaTrader.
Brian, I noticed some questions about, some concern about the final release of the SST and whether we're going to be continuing to support it in the trade room. And the answer is yes. I mean, the SST is a trade method that it's going to last a lifetime, because this method, there's no lagging indicators that this method is relying upon. This is all price action at the right edge of the chart. The indicators are only used for confirmation and for sizing the trade. Knowing what size trade the trade is going to be. That's really what the indicators do. It's the dynamics of the trade setups themselves. We're going to keep trading this in the trade room for quite a while, the foreseeable future. I don't even have any date in mind when I'm not going to call trades with the SST going forward. If that day ever comes, because I don't know if I'm going to be calling trades forever. I'm in my 4th year already. It's a long time to be getting up at 4:30 in the morning every single day to call trades. It'll be when every single SST owner is an ace and doesn't need me anymore, basically. So that hopefully puts some people at ease as far as the SST. It's not like we're going to sell it and then a month later close shop, because that's not going to happen.
Question being asked here by Dangus. For what reason do we use the indicators, the OSOB, the channel, if there are exact entry and exit points? Well, it's that combination of the indicators that create that entry, target and stop for us. And while we do have what we call a very powerful calculator, that it's the calculator that plots the plus sign on the chart for you. But when we train you, we want you to understand why that setup is there. And so it's a combination of those two things. And we don't want this to just be red light, green light. We want you to understand the methodology and the approach. And so anyways, that's the answer to that.
And Brian, in the live trade room, new members are coming in and they're asking questions, and it's something I encourage. I want every single question asked and then answered. The only stupid question is the question you don't ask. So whether it's very basic, whatever, we get all kinds of questions. That's what's so great about this too, is that with the live trade room, you could practice with me or with Coach Will or Ron or whoever's hosting the room, and you can practice live with us. You're going to master this before you ever risk 1 penny of real money, because we're going to give you that live trade room and give you the chance to master it, ask your questions. And the video training that comes with it's very thorough also. So, it's all going to be crystal clear. It's like anything that's brand new, maybe has you scratching your head a little bit, but before too long, it's like riding a bike. You get on, you start pedaling, and now you don't think about falling over. You're just looking for the potholes in the road, swerving around them without thinking. And that's how you want your trading to be, and that's what we try to achieve with all our members.
Hey, Troy, I've got a question from Northquest, and he's asking the difference between the base SST and the SST Pro. Can you kind of go over that?
Yeah, sure. The rules are identical. So as far as learning the SST or learning the SST Pro, there's nothing new to learn. The rules are identical. The SST Pro is just loaded with more functionality, things that we had to learn, things that we've learned trading the regular SST. For example, when we're trading the regular SST, we have to keep track of key level adjustments, something we teach in training, but we don't want to get long 2 ticks below a major key level. Well, the SST Pro knows how to adjust around it, so you don't have to think about it. But with the SST, you have to be mindful of it and you have to think about it. You have to make that adjustment manually. You see? So that's one amazing thing that the Pro can do. The Pro has more targets. The Pro has more stop tools. With the regular SST, we had to track the add-on trade manually. The Pro can now track the add-on trade independent of the other trades, which is really nice to see. So that's just a couple of the things that are different. The SST Pro has a whole slew of power tools. I call them power tools. They're filters. They're chop filters, basically. So just to give you an example, on the Aussie US, you see this orange line here? We call that the mustard line. Sometimes that'll come between the entry and the first target. When that happens, we don't take the trade because it doesn't cut the mustard. It's this real clever little phrase. And one of the members actually came up with this idea. And so we built it into the Pro. We could use it. We don't have to use it. The Pro, you can toggle on and off different positions. With the regular SST, you can't. So I'm just kind of scratching the surface. The Pro is just loaded with a lot more things. And then, you know, next week when we do our formal presentation, we're going to be going over the Pro in greater detail. So hopefully that answers that question.
Troy, the question from Bob coming in. He's looking at your AUD JPY chart there, and he's asking if there's a trade setup that took place.
Yeah, it was back here at around 8:35. Triggered in, first target exited here. It was a real small setup. Again, you know, with Forex, the range has been very tight. I mean, it wasn't a very big trade. So this is the kind of trade you hope to make money with the trailer. And you can see the trailer is moving closer and closer to profitability. The other thing you can do is use a horizontal line and just trail the yellow dotted line, which is the trigger line. So every bar that closes, you might trail just beneath it, beneath the mustard line, either one. And so you could have a position, a little position down here, the majority of your position up here, and we'll just keep it going and see how long it goes for. I mean, that's all you can do if you're going to day trade Forex. I mean, that's the world we live in right now. Day trading, I think you're better off trading futures, but there's money to be made day trading Forex. It just requires a lot of patience. But the answer is yes. That was a trade that triggered it.
And I want to go over this again because there's a few more questions coming in. But the SST works on TradeStation. That's what Troy's showing you. It works on NinjaTrader, and it does work on MetaTrader 4. So that response was for Harry. Harry, you're asking that you saying that you prefer MT4, and keep in mind when you're looking at MT4 that that is Forex only, and so. But the methodology works great on Forex. Okay. What's the Troy? This question has come in quite a bit. Can you talk about the average risk to reward and how that gets reduced pretty quickly?
Yeah, sure. First of all, admittedly, we have a unique way of looking at the typical metrics that most traders are concerned with. The SST always is going to start with a stop that gives the trade room to develop. But it's also going to aggressively cut risk, take all the risk off the trade, and then continue to lock in profit. So the risk reward is kind of hard to put your finger on because it never ends up being the same. It's always changing. Every single trade is different. It's tuning itself to market conditions at the right edge of the chart. So for example, if you look at this yellow trade, well, let's walk through the last 4 trades on crude. It's a good demonstration right here. Okay, we had a possible reversal short right here. Okay, notice that on the very next bar it canceled. Instead, we got a long trade. That trade triggered in, didn't quite get to its money management level, but the stop still moved up to here. Okay, so it cut risk, but we didn't get out here. We got out here at a stop and reverse. It was an entry right here. So the risk was from here to here. You see? Let me just draw a line really quick here. I want to show you something. The risk was from here to here. Okay, so 1-to-1 would have been a target here, but look where our target is. It's up here, or the third target up here. Okay, so it's quite a bit different than from where it started down here. Cut risk, cut risk, cut risk. But the big cut in risk was reversing here. So it took a small loss, got short right there, right? That one missed the full target by 1 tick. So are you trading for profit with some of your position? By all means you are. Look, 94 is a big key level. It stabbed through it and then it bounced right off of it. So hopefully you're getting out with some of your position aggressively. But if not, look at how the stop cut risk, quickly locked in some profit and eliminated the risk. You would have been out here anyway, and then it reversed again to long, and look where that went. I mean, the market's slow, and yet we're still getting close to full targets. This one still could hit it. But am I going to wait? I'm going to take a little bit of my position off. Meanwhile, look at this stop. It was way down here, but look what happened. Moved up here. No more risk. Locking in profit, locking in profit, locking in profit. Just stopped out with a partial profit. We're being fluid. We're dancing with the market. We're taking what the market wants to give us. So we give the trade room to develop. So when it comes to risk-reward ratio, it's always changing, but it's always changing in your favor. Is it possible that a trade can trigger in and turn right back around and nosedive and give you a full stop out? Of course it's possible, and it's going to happen, but it's rare. That doesn't happen very often. Most of the time when you get stopped out, you're getting stopped out after that stop has already cut the risk on the trade. So yes, you have to be prepared for the full loss, and that's going to happen from time to time. On the other hand, what's going to happen from time to time is you're going to explode past the target and run up another dollar, which is another $1,000 on the runner. So you make it up on your trailer. So, you know, you can't have one without the other, right? If you want to have trades that are going to make you a lot of money, you've got to give them the room they need to develop. So I don't know how to say the risk-reward ratio is blah-da-da-da-da, because it's changing with every single setup on every single market with every single time frame. It's the philosophy of our system is not based on your typical metrics that most traders lean on. That's why this is successful, because we're kind of maverick in the markets. We're doing things differently, but we have to think differently too, and we can't get caught up in all that old wisdom that, you know, if it works so well, why is 90% of traders failing? So it's all part of our philosophy. Hopefully that answers that question.
Okay, questions are coming to a lull. If for any reason I missed your question, either via the text or announcing it to the group, go ahead and get that in. But I think we'll bring things to a close. Again, I want to stress that this is the final release for the SST, and I should be more specific when I say that. The final release webinar is going to be next Thursday. So be looking in your email for that information, and we're going to be doing a live webinar on that day. So we'll be giving you more information about you know, the package itself, and we're actually going to have, you know, a special promotion for you to get involved with the 7 Summits Trader. So a few more questions coming in here, and let's see, from Fabrice. Says, I am working from 3 a.m. to 11 a.m. our time. He lives in France. He's off today. I can't follow you live, so no day trading for the SST. How can I use the SST for swing trading? Should I take all the setups or avoid trading between certain hours? Still taking swing trading. Wants to basically minimize the amount of time in front of his screen. So Troy, you want to talk about swing trading and how the SST works?
Yeah, the SST works really great on swing trading. We look at some swing trades in live trade room just to kind of keep it fresh in people's mind. The Owners Club has a ton of swing trade plans not only for Forex, but also for futures and also for stocks and options, because it works great. So for me, the best Forex trades are swing trades. There are some nice day trades, but they're really slow, and I like to get my day trading done. So for me, day trading futures is better because, I mean, like I said, it's 7:30 in the morning, and I'm going to be done with my trading. It's nice. But I'll have swing tradings that, swing trades that I'm going to be putting on and monitoring. You could do end of day, you could do 4-hour. There's so many time frames that have yet to be explored too, and that's where it's really great to have an active membership. A lot of our members are submitting their trade plans. We post to the to the Owners Club. One trader likes to day trade the spider. Imagine that, and he uses Renko bars. This works on Renko. So if you're in France and you want to swing trade, there's plenty for you to swing trade, plenty. And you could even day trade French hours if you had time. I was over in Europe just a few months ago. I gave a presentation at the Traders Technical Analysis Expo. I don't know if you were there. But there's nothing like day trading in the middle of the day or even swing trading with a nice bottle of Bordeaux sitting in front of you, looking out at all that Parisian scenery. I love France. They're great traders too over there. So yeah, I would say that there's plenty of swing trade opportunities. I saw a question regarding ROI versus the cost of the SST. I know that NetPicks is putting together an amazing package. They haven't revealed the details, not even to me. It's something that they keep very tight, and it will be revealed on our final release party. But as usual, it's going to be packed with a bunch of goodies, and everyone's going to be thrilled, I think, because this is truly an amazing system. You have a chance to get your hands on it. It's going to last you for a lifetime if you do. So, if you need more information on it, you can certainly join us in the live trade room at netpicks.com. You can sign up for the signal service, free 2 weeks. You can come in, you can check it out, and ask more questions. You can see me doing this very same thing live every single day. Help you make your decision. If that's important to you, you can do it. What else? What am I missing here?
Let's see, Troy, I've got Henry who just posted a comment. He says, joined late, and he's asking if we're selling a platform, mentoring, or what is the cost? So obviously, Henry, I want to clarify, today was just meant to be a show and tell. We're showcasing the 7 Summits Trader, and we walked through some live market conditions, and so that's what the purpose of today's webinar is. It really is not to sell you anything today. We just wanted to show the methodology in real time and spend some time taking your questions on it. The sales are going to open on Thursday. We're going to have our as TJ said, our final party on Thursday of next week, and that's when you'll be able to get more information about the methodology and the approach, and then obviously at the end of that process presentation be able to purchase.
A couple questions I see I'd like to answer. Is SST more effective or less effective on Forex and on futures? The answer is no. It's effective on both. Forex, you just have to know what the market is and what it's doing, because it goes through long-term cycles. And like I was showing you how slow the day trading is in the Euro-US. I mean, look at this. It's gone nowhere. There's just nothing there. On the swing trade side, that's a different story. It's extremely effective. In fact, I mean, if we have time, I can show some swing trade stuff. I don't know if we have time. But another question I wanted to answer is, has the SST proven to be more profitable than the SST Express? And the SST Express is just another expression of the SST. And the SST Express is built into the SST Pro. So when you have the SST Pro, you also have the SST Express. And the answer is no, it's not more profitable. The SST Express is just another way to use the SST tool set to come up with winning trade plans. That's what it's all about. With a trade plan, it makes trading easy. Trade plans, we could call one of the 7 summits to successful trading. Trade plans is one of those 7, one of the keys to success. Whether it's a SST Express or not, doesn't matter. Here you can see crude oil coming out. This is, look at what the release of the report is doing to the market here. But we stand aside. We don't try to be heroes through this. We want to take trades where we put the odds in our favor. So one thing I want to mention too, we didn't talk about this much, long-term position traders. Maybe you only want to put on a few trades a year. Maybe you want to, in your retirement account, put on a position and just come and look at it once a day or every few days or whatever. Let me show you something really quick. This is a chart of the Qs, the NASDAQ ETF, right? This is a weekly chart, okay? There's 10 years of history on this weekly chart, 10 years. You can see here back to 2010. Winner, winner. This is the automation. Winner, loser, not that big of a loser. Winner, winner, winner. There it is. I didn't make this up. This is what happened. This is a trade plan that's been customized for this market, but this trade plan was presented over a year ago, and this is what's been happening since it was presented. This is long-term position trading. Could you put leap options? Could you pick up a few shares every now and then? Every time you win, pick up a few more shares, build it up in your retirement account? By all means, yes. This is the power of the SST. I mean, it empowers you. What else do you want to trade? When you build your account big enough, you could put on day trade, end of day chart, use end of day charts and trade futures contracts. Heating oil over the last 3 years, just trading the two-position approach that we teach without even leveraging up over time using end-of-day charts has amassed over $300,000 in profits. Just that one contract. You'd have to know how to roll it over. You'd have to know how to deal with that kind of trading. You need a bigger account because each trade is worth a few grand. You have to know, that should only, you have to use smart money management, of course, and build your account up to that. But it's all there for you. It's all there. Cotton, even feeder cattle. Believe it or not. Feeder cattle. How many of you have traded feeder cattle? I mean, you can diversify. This is an amazing system. It really is. It works. It just continues to work. We have 2 straight years of history. I'm showing you everything in live time. I'm not making this up. Let's just review this 5-minute chart real quick on crude oil. Remember I told you this could be a huge winner? This trade got in at 8:35. At 9 o'clock, we could have taken it here, got to the first target objective, locked in, took the risk off. Now it's just riding higher and higher and higher. Who knows how far it's going to go? Will it go to this target? One can only hope. But even if it doesn't, it's already a huge winner, isn't it? Do you know how much crude oil is worth? Every penny is worth $10. And this trade got in at 93.47 and it's at 94.47. That's a $1,000 move with only one position right there. Someone asked about the ROI, return on investment versus the cost of the SST. Look at this one trade. I think you can answer your own question. This is live. I didn't make this up. This is happening now. What's next? Any more questions?
Well, we're coming pretty much to the end here, Troy. So I want to encourage you to join us next Thursday for the final release party of the SST. And again, we're going to be coming out with a special package and price, and so you're not going to want to miss that. And do appreciate you taking the time to be with us today. Troy, I appreciate you joining us today. You took time away from your live room to be here with us, and so I do appreciate you taking time out to do that. And if there's any further questions that you might have between now and next Thursday, you can email us at info@netpicks.com. I will send this link out to everybody for this email address. So it's info@netpicks.com. And let's send that out. So if you have any questions at all, feel free to email us and we'll get you an answer. Troy, any closing comments?
No, I mean, I'm really grateful for everyone's time in spending the last couple hours so I could share the SST with you. I really appreciate it. I want to invite anyone who's interested to come into the live trade room over the next several days, this week or whatever, leading up to our release party, give you a chance to see it more. I think everyone should really make an educated decision. You know, trading's about making money. It doesn't matter how you do it, whether you use the SST, whether you have another method that works, but it's nice to be diversified, and sometimes diversification comes in many forms. It's not just different markets. It's also different systems. And if you can use the SST to help you achieve your objective as a trader, then, I mean, that's just, for us, that means we've succeeded. That's the most important thing for us. We are fully committed to our membership succeeding as traders. Every single product NetPicks puts out, there's always that question that's being asked amongst us all: is this going to help our membership succeed as a trader? And we have to answer a big resounding yes to that question before we even consider anything that we put out to the public. So, I mean, our commitment's there. If your commitment's there too, then let's prosper together as traders. And I hope I see some of you in the SST trade room and at the release party next week.
Okay, thanks, Troy, and thanks again, everyone. Appreciate your time and attendance today, and hope to see you next week on Thursday. Have a good rest of today and good trading to you.